Hello everyone, here's what's coming up tonight on News Center Now. School lunch debt. It's a problem across the nation. We're finding out how schools in Maine are addressing the issue.
Also, Tom Brady usually does a weekly radio appearance. He did one today, but it was really short and he was mad because of something that was said about his daughter. We will give you the story. Also, military recruiters. How hard is it or how easy is it to get people to sign up for the service?
This is News Center Now.
It's something that just breaks my heart.
A child in the lunchroom denied a hot meal because they can't pay. New legislation could make that illegal. Hello everyone, I'm Lindsay Mills.
And I'm Lee Goldberg. In some Maine schools, if a child has a large outstanding balance on their lunch account, they're given an alternative meal like a peanut butter and jelly. And that can be a symbol to their classmates that their parents might be struggling to pay the bills.
Activists say it's called food shaming, and a new bill in Augusta could put an end to it, but it could get expensive. And who coughs up the cash? We want to know. Do you think all public school students should have access to a hot lunch no matter their ability to pay for it? Vote now at pulse.newscentermaine.com. Meanwhile, we're hearing from one superintendent who says she's witnessed food shaming and she took steps to make sure it doesn't happen in her school district.
I've experienced or seen food shaming in a couple of different ways in public schools.
Before she was superintendent of schools in Scarborough, Julie Kuchenberger worked as a teacher and principal out of state.
I used to just put $50 in my account so that way if the school wasn't changing the policy at that time, so if there was a student who didn't have money in their account, I would tell the cafeteria workers to just charge my account.
In her district, students have access to a hot lunch regardless of their financial standing.
And I'm just so proud that we're a district who puts kids first.
If a student doesn't have lunch money and is not enrolled in the free or reduced lunch program,
our food service director works closely with the family to try to help them come up with payment plans or better understand if they haven't filled out the free and reduced lunch form. We always recommend that.
Scarborough partners with Project Grace. The nonprofit helps pay down outstanding meal debt at the end of the year.
Last year, I believe they contributed $2,500.
Kuchenberger says their food service program costs $200,000 a year.
We, of course, are trying to put as much money as we can into the classroom. However, I would make a counter argument that if kids are hungry, then no matter how much time and resources we put into the classroom, they're not going to be ready to learn.
Senator Joyce Maker has sponsored LD 1684, a proposed bill to ban schools from denying students lunch. She says it's to address the problem with meal debt, which in Maine amounts to $350,000, and make sure school officials don't talk to students about it. They go to parents or guardians. In recent testimony, the Department of Education said it agrees the debt is not the responsibility of the student. However, they have several concerns, citing confidentiality issues, and they raise the questions: would the state have to foot the bill for these lunches, and where would the money come from? For now, policies vary across the state. It's up to the district to decide. Kuchenberger says she supports the proposed legislation.
Schools need to be the safest, most sacred places that our children come to, and making sure that they are able to access healthy food is part of that.
And this topic also raises the question how to incentivize parents to pay for their child's meals if they know they are going to have access to a hot meal no matter what. Join the conversation right now on our News Center Maine Facebook live stream.
Well, I mean, it's a great question because you don't want any kid to go hungry. It's not, I think you said in the story, it's not the kid's fault most of the times when the account is not there.
Right.
But somebody's got to pay for it too. So there's there's got to be a happy medium for both.
Exactly, and that's what the Department of Education brings up. They agree that the debt shouldn't fall on the student's responsibility. It's up to the parents or the guardians, and needs to go from there.
All right, so we know it's January, but seriously, the temperatures like everywhere. The roller coaster.
Yeah.
Well, we got a couple of thaws in this January, right? I mean, we got one this weekend where it was in the 50s in some spots. Back down to reality here, temperatures in the 20s and teens in the mountains. And it'll be the beginning of a pattern change that will last for about a week, week and a half, where we're going to see those cooler temperatures kind of settle in here. The winds have been a little gusty as well. Jess, can you advance? Does this clicker work? I leave for a little while on the batteries. Are there batteries in here? Anyways, the winds around 10 miles an hour or so, enough to add a little bit of a wind chill. And we've got some clouds offshore. This is part of a storm system that's going to move in late tonight, early tomorrow morning. It's not a big deal. Most of it misses to our east, but we will see some snow along the coastline starting late tonight in through early tomorrow morning. And down East Maine and the mid-coast will see the bulk of that. You can see it through the morning commute here, 8 o'clock over down east through the mid-coast into southern coastal Maine, and then it moves offshore relatively quickly through the afternoon. It will be enough, though, to be accumulating snowfall. We'll talk about how much snow that is, guys, and we'll talk about the bigger pattern change. Again, much more wintry going forward.
All right, Keith, thank you. In the news tonight, Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe is stepping down. Sources tell NBC News that McCabe has been at the center of ongoing tensions between the White House and the FBI and has reportedly been under pressure from President Trump to step down. He briefly served as acting FBI director after James Comey was dismissed by President Trump. He also worked under Robert Mueller at the FBI, who is now the special counsel for the Russia investigation.
The Patriots touched down in Minnesota. The entire team walked off the jumbo jet just a few hours ago. Our March to Minnesota team will be doing the same tomorrow, but with less fanfare, we suspect. Today, someone stood at the bottom of the stairs. Lee, you loved this, handing out furry hats to the players. It's supposed to be very cold there this weekend.
Yeah, it looked like they landed in Russia in February. I mean, just big, thick hats.
You know, when you get to Hawaii, if you've ever been, they hand you that flower necklace, you know, the lei.
Yep. Never been there.
It's the opposite.
Someday I'll experience that. So here's something that a lot of you guys are talking about today. Tom Brady, the quarterback of the Patriots, obviously sticking up for his daughter because a radio host called her a derogatory name earlier in the week.
That radio personality has been suspended, but today Brady called into his weekly chat with WEEI, and the host encouraged him to sound off about the insult against a 5-year-old girl.
I've always tried to come on and, you know, do a good job for you guys, so you know, it's very disappointing when you hear that, certainly with my daughter or any child. You know, they certainly don't deserve that.
Right before he hung up, Tom Brady questioned whether or not he will continue to call in as he does every Monday. And ironically, he just signed a contract extension to keep doing that for the next few years. Now, most of you today are saying that children are absolutely off limits and that the radio host was out of line. Barbara says that Brady reacted the way any father should. But Jamie says if you put your kids on social media, you are going to get comments about them. Kaylin says she wishes she could say that she's shocked, but she is not, because kids get attacked on social media and on public all the time.
And Merriam-Webster says most people had to Google the insult, myself included, to find a definition. There was a huge spike in searches, and the dictionary said it is a vulgar phrase meaning an insignificant person or thing. I'd be angry if somebody said that about myself or a loved one or anyone I cared about.
27 years of covering sports, you never talk about professional athletes' children. It's just kind of a known thing, unless they're in the news for an actual reason. This guy was trying to be funny, making a joke. It wasn't funny, and it might cost him his job. So it wasn't good anywhere.
TB12 Nation is very strong.
Absolutely. All right. So if you're considering making a last-minute Super Bowl trip, there might be a cheap way for you to score some tickets. We'll give you the details coming up.
A buttery, flaky crust.
Which was better, the original Dice Hearts couple or Kate McKinnon and Will Ferrell? You be the judge after the break.
Coming up tonight on 207, for anyone with a sweet tooth, this is one of the great events in Maine. We'll take you to Rockland and show you what goes into the making of Pies on Parade. And the latest production from Good Theater, Sheer Madness, on 207.
Grammys last night. Are you upset? Because so am I. And tonight I'm joining a chorus of people disappointed with the Recording Academy. So here's my take. After 60 years, last night's Grammy Awards pulls in its lowest ratings and smallest audience in the show's history, this according to Variety. But is it a sign of the times, or does the Recording Academy continue to shoot itself in the foot? They showed promise with the increased diversity in their nominees this year, but it all came to a screeching halt with the embarrassment that is the Despacito snub. The hit song from Puerto Ricans Luis Fonsi and Daddy Yankee was up for 3 Grammys, Song of the Year, Record of the Year, and Best Pop Duo or Group Performance. A song that Justin Bieber picked up strictly by chance when he heard it on a trip to Colombia and helped launch a global phenomenon. They came out
0 for 3 at the end of the night, 0 for 3. But you know what? Let's just all toss emotion aside here and look at some numbers. Despacito was the biggest song in the U.S. last year. It topped the Hot 100 chart for a record-tying 16 weeks, and it is the most streamed song of all time with 1.3 billion streams last year. It racked up 4.7 billion views on YouTube, making it the most watched in YouTube history. This all according to Nielsen. So what if the song is in Spanish? The first and only time a non-English song won Song of the Year was in 1959, an Italian song called Volare. The Grammys say they're about quality, not quantity. But if a song of Despacito's quality that brings in staggering numbers like those is 0 for 3, then it is clear no other song has a shot unless it's in English. For a night that was so inclusive of so many messages from the artists, the Recording Academy failed by their own accord to follow through on their supposed support for them. Did you think Despacito should have won at least one Grammy? Let's talk about it on Twitter or Facebook, because I'm fired up. Lee, hold me back. Hold me back.
Do not
I love how Katie knows I have no ability to hold her
diva
back.
mad. Do not mess with her Despacito.
Yes.
Don't mess with it.
Don't.
Yeah.
Don't.
Right.
Despacito means slowly, I believe.
Well, Katie doesn't know slowly, so
It's
it doesn't work that way.
Exactly.
She does not speak that language. All right, Saturday's episode of Saturday Night Live had a skit that Mainers instantly recognized.
Baked in a Christy crusty turd.
Oh my word. Oh, Danny, that's so funny.
Kate McKinnon and Will Ferrell are pretty hilarious, but sometimes the original is actually the best. Jack and Sonia Palmer got a chance to watch the SNL skit that spoofs the YouTube famous Dice Arts ad, Baked in a Buttery Flaky Crust. In the original outtakes compilation, Jack continually messes up the line. Eventually, Sonia takes over and after a couple of takes nails it. But the mistakes live on the internet where they have been viewed millions of times. Head to our website or mobile apps. Check out the entire video reaction from the OG Dice Arts couple.
OG, of course, meaning the original. And lots of you saying you know Jack and Sonia personally because you met at Dice Arts. And Beverly says they were great sports, but the original is best. That says Will Ferrell had a hard time capturing the essence of Jack. And Barbara says she has the perfect order for maximum laughs. Watch the SNL skit, watch the Palmers, watch the SNL skit, then go back and watch the original outtakes video. It's quite a commitment of time, but might be well worth it. All right, well, how do we get the best of the best to represent our country?
Every day is different. I get to talk to so many people and I get to change people's lives.
The life of a recruiter for the United States military. That story is coming up on News Center now.
And there's some snow in the forecast, but it is enough for the plows to hit the road. Keith back from vacation. Weather takes a turn. Coincidence? I think not. There are roughly 1.3 million Americans who serve in the 5 branches of the military, with another 800,000 who make up the 7 reserve components. So we wondered, how hard is it to get people to sign up for the service, or is it even hard at all? The United States military has been around since the late 1700s. In that time, millions of men and women have served their country. In Maine, the business of recruiting new military members is alive and well. And for all the recruiters of any given branch, that first impression is important.
If you don't show a young man or woman that comes in here how the Marine Corps can actually make their life for the better, and you're not 100% in on that as well, they're not going to believe anything you have to say, and they're not going to have any reason whatsoever to join the Marine Corps.
There's nothing like recruiting, though. It's very unique as to where you get to leave a imprint on the future of the organization, and that was very appealing to me. Also, along with that, we get a chance to change kids' lives.
For Chief Machinery Technician Hunter, the challenge can be greater than the other branches. His Portland office, which houses 4 recruiters, serves all of Maine, all of New Hampshire, and all of Vermont.
We still don't have a problem. We have people that come all the way from Fort Kent, Burlington, Vermont, all around, and they're willing to come down here. Some of them drive 6 hours to get here just to talk about the option of joining the Coast Guard.
Not only are recruiters looking to get people into the service, in many cases, they are asking parents to trust them with their children or spouses to leave their loved ones.
And really being from Maine myself and coming through this office was actually in South Portland when I came through. I think that helps with that, you know, and I want their well-being at the end of the day, and I know they have to put that trust in me to know that I'm going to do right by, you know, their son or daughter.
Now, of the 5 military branches, the Army has the most members with about 550,000. The Coast Guard is the smallest with about 43,000 people.
And for some perspective, the NYPD has more than that with 54,000 employees.
That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Very big operation going on there.
Absolutely.
Well, last night's sunset was absolutely gorgeous, and a lot of you sent in your best snapshots, and we just want to take a minute to show them off. If you ever get a truly beautiful shot of Maine, please send it our way. We may just put it up on TV or add it to the Newscenter Maine graphics package. And speaking of those new graphics,
yay.
Keith Carson.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
You come back from your time off and a whole new look.
There were a lot of emails that I saw in the meantime.
A lot of catch up you had to do.
Todd replied to most of them. We'll talk about that in a second. The pattern is going to change. So this whole thaw thing is, I know, I'm sorry, Lee. You did have a little thaw in there,
No, it was
though.
nice. I'll take it.
I'll tell you, the mountain peeps weren't too happy with it this weekend, and that's kind of how it goes. But this week going forward, next 10 days, is wintry, but not, minus 25 like we had there in December. Got some clouds moving in. That's a storm system that will largely actually miss us to the east and southeast, this batch of moisture here, but it will just have kind of a glancing blow to the coastline, enough to produce a couple of inches of snow late tonight and through the day tomorrow. So the timing on that is later tonight, clouds start increasing. Temperatures are in the 20s. By 3, 4 o'clock, you start seeing some snow right along the immediate coastline, particularly into down East Maine. And it's snowing through the morning commute, so the timing is not great. Here we are at 8 o'clock, and you can see a lot of the state is seeing at least light and in some cases moderate bands of snow over down east, but it is very quickly wraps out of here. By 2 or 3, it's just down east that's seeing the snow, and by 5 or 6, it is out of here. So quick moving, relatively light, but enough to produce some accumulation. We haven't had to change this map. I believe Ryan was kind of the opening bid on this, and there's no reason to change it. 1 to 3 along the immediate coastline. Much higher chance of getting 3 over down east than there is in Portland and down into Kittery, so just be aware of that. And a coating to an inch for much of the rest of the state. Probably almost nothing for the mountains where they'd most like to see it snow. After that, we have a couple of quick moving storms. So we have our storm system tonight, tomorrow. We get a break on Wednesday. Another storm comes in on Thursday. That's also on the light side. A break on Friday afternoon. Then Saturday looks okay. And then for Super Bowl Sunday, another system moves in. So none of these look huge. In fact, when you add them, okay, I guess we won't add them all up together because that graphic's going to go right through. When you add them all up together, you're not looking at all that much snow total. But looking forward into next week, we do have a favorable jet stream. The trough is shallow. It allows the jet stream to be just to our south. Cold air, active pattern, chances for some more significant snow through next week. Whether or not it adds up to a major storm, there's really no way to tell right now, but the broad strokes are there. Okay, so this is the graphic everybody loves so much. This is our new 7-day. Just so you all know, we are adjustments are already being made to this. So probably by Friday, and if not by Super Bowl Sunday for sure, this 7-day will look different because we heard you loudly, and we need to change this a little bit. So we will do that, no worries, and we'll make it so everybody can see what's going on. But in the meantime, definitely more active here next 7 to 10 days.
All right, bud. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right, so the Lewiston-Auburn area has some hockey champs returning home today. The Fab Four of Axel, Ace, Ryan, and Will won their New England 3-on-3 regional tournament, which got them an all-expenses-paid trip to the NHL All-Star Game this past weekend. The kids represented the Bruins and competed against the other regional winners in a street hockey tournament, and they won.
Woohoo!
Add that to the countless pictures they got to take with today's NHL stars, including Brad Marchand of the Bruins, and it was more than a dream come true for this group of kids. Very nice.
And as if the weekend could not have gotten any better, the kids ran into Marchand at the airport on the way home today, helped him get his luggage to check in, and the Bruins All-Star gave them some sticks for their effort.
So cool.
What I would do for a hockey stick from an NHL All-Star.
I know a few kids you can try to make a deal with.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh man, they could sell those for a pretty penny. All right, for a while there it looked like the home team would be the Minnesota Vikings, and a lot of fans gobbled up Super Bowl 52 tickets.
But the Eagles knocked them out, obviously, so many Minneapolis fans are trying to dump their seats quickly. Apparently they're holding a grudge and they don't want to pay to watch the Eagles play.
Amid the ads for Super Bowl tickets, a few particularly sad sellers.
I'm bitter.
Like Min Huynh, a heartbroken Vikings fan. He plunked down $10,000 for a ticket package that included hotel, meals, and a happy hour with NFL athletes. Now he's selling it.
Just being there, seeing the team that, beat us to get there, and I think I just would be too upset.
At Ticket King, they're seeing lots of disappointed Vikings fans in the same boat.
Well, that's our main source of tickets at this point. Unfortunately, they're generally unable to get what they paid.
Ticket prices soared right before the NFC Championship game, then dropped big.
On the entry-level seat, they've dropped around $1,000.
Not that they're cheap. The nosebleed seats going for $3,300 and up. The highest price, more than $22,000.
I think what has prevented the market from really dropping is the amount of Eagles fans.
Yes, those fans. Not that Min would sell to them.
Everyone's seen the videos of how they treated the Vikings fans there. And
he just about broke even on his package. Other Minnesotans hoping to be as lucky. In Minneapolis, Lauren Lemanchek, KARE 11 News.
All right, Cindy Williams here now to look at what's coming up on News Center Maine at 5:30. Hey, Cindy.
Hi, guys. Some business owners who live down east are refusing to give up on the local minimum security prison. They say that the inmates provide valuable work and that the governor needs to rethink his decision to close that correctional facility. We'll have the story. And a Major League Baseball franchise is the latest to change its mascot following pressure from Native American communities. Details on those stories and much more coming up in the next half hour. Back to you.
All right, Cindy, sounds good. Thanks. And only a few more minutes, by the way, to vote in today's Pulse poll. We will take a look at the final results right after Brain Drops next.
All right, I had a more elaborate brain drops, but we're a little crunched for time, so I want to give you a homework assignment instead, and it's over your shoulder here. Blue Planet 2, it's a BBC series that I highly recommend you watch. The Blue Planet #1 is on Netflix if you don't have BBC television. It is this documentary that shows you the inner workings of the ocean. And guys, some of these creatures are just tremendous. I've been watching this every night. My wife's just given up on me and going to bed. Yeah, there's all kinds of things you wouldn't even know existed, like translucent fish with lures.
Did you post something about this recently on Twitter? With the octopus that was like changing colors to match the ocean floor?
Exactly. So
mesmerizing.
Check this out if you can. It is one of the most interesting, and just the cinematography of it, how they get these shots over the course of years and then must just leave cameras down there.
Our Facebook audience is already in on this homework assignment because they love Blue Planet and they're saying this is going to be great. So everybody watch Blue Planet. Are we going to have a test?
Yeah, there might be a test.
Okay.
You never know, Lee.
That's
you
your
watched
homework.
27 minutes of my last assignment.
Yeah, it was 26 too many.
It's pretty good.
All right. Thank you, guys. News Center 5:30 starts
right now.